Okay, big question. What's the Trump doctrine? As you can see behind me in Chicago, that is the Trump building. I wonder if it's making or losing money, but that's not the point right now. Really quick, is there a Trump doctrine in US foreign policy? Now, a lot's floated around. Unilateralism, go by yourself, America first, etc. I'm a little incredulous about these quote unquote doctrines to begin with. Like, for example, we used to have containment, which was to contain the spread of the Soviet Union. And then later, with more hawkish people, we had brinkmanship, ready on the brink of war with the Soviet Union to deter the Soviet Union. We had deterrence, then detente, where we made relations with the Soviet Union. These are all good, but I think you have to look at the specific policies because, in a lot of ways, Trump doesn't change that much. Like, for example, when there was private soldiers who went into Venezuela to overthrow the government, they failed miserably. But, according to documents, they were with Trump initially. And I think Trump knew about this. This is something George Bush did years ago, before most of you were born, against Hugo Chavez, and that failed miserably. Trump, they say, likes dictators, but all governments like dictators because they're pliant. I mean, we're reaching out to the new Syrian government. That's not going to be probably a democracy. We loved a bunch of dictators, Equatorial Guinea, Teodoro Obiang, King of Swaziland, who has like 18, 19, 20 young wives. Ronald Reagan loved Liberia's General Doe, loved Rios Montt, who committed genocide in Guatemala because he was, Pinochet, who was a brutal dictator of Chile. So to say Trump likes dictators, I'm a little incredulous about that argument as well. What I think we have to look for with U.S. foreign policy and Trump are the specific policies. I do think in trade, he does want to take on China a bit more than others and other countries. But the idea is, what will this do to the economy? If you're a Democrat, you say, oh, this will hurt, consumers, et cetera. If you're not, it's very difficult to see. I think in the way of trade, Trump will be a little different. But again, the second George Bush, when he ran in the initial election, ran on tariffs against steel in order to protect Pennsylvania. And it worked. He won Pennsylvania. I mean, I don't know if that's the exact variable, but he won. So the question becomes, if Trump just says, "Oh, tariffs on everything," that could be bad. But if he does sit there and say tariffs, that is like a tax on imports or quotas, that's amount you can quote import of products from other countries, just say like, 50,000 shirts from China. Can there be, a good policy? It really depends. And who could win? If we do kind of decrease trade with China, would that be a boom for Mexico? There's a lot of what we call externalities, that is spin-offs that we really don't know what's going to happen. So is there a Trump doctrine? Look at the specific policies. He's more open to talking to Putin than I think Harris would have been. I think Trump is more putting strain on NATO to pay more, which I think could be good. Obama talked about it as well as a lot of other people. And then you've got the immigration thing. I think that is where he differentiates himself a policy about, we're going to deport, millions and millions of people. But is that even realistic? Because that is a foreign policy initiative since they're coming from other countries. Also, they talk about like America first, but America does need allies, right? If you want to deal with things like the environment, you're going to have to deal with Mexico, Canada, et cetera. This is going to be a very, very interesting time. He's going to put up new cabinet members. Will they even get in? Look at that Gates guy, or Geets, or whatever his name was. I mean, for Attorney General, he got, steamrolled over within 20 seconds. So we will have Trump foreign policy doctrine, American first, but a lot of people think you can't go American first. You need alliances to win. Like World War II, obviously the most salient example. Joe Stalin became Uncle Joe, even though we hated him, in order to defeat the Nazis. So you do kind of need these people. When Trump said, "Oh, Mexico's gonna, pay for the wall," Mexico was like, "We're not gonna do that," and they didn't. Trump also said he's going to buy Greenland, and Denmark came out and said, we're not selling Greenland. So the idea behind some of these policies, we have to really wait and see how they pan out. Will he be like a bull in the china closet? Some people have referred to him. And will some of these policies be good? And that's what I think we have to start thinking and wait, what will be good of Trump? What will be bad? Right? Even like the idea of deporting millions of immigrants, that's a very difficult thing because we don't only have, ICE to kick people out, but we have a judicial system. If you start rounding people up who are legal, then you've got a lot of court cases on your hand. It becomes very, very costly. That's how I think Joe Arpaio lost, was when he basically was trying in Arizona, kick all these people out, but so many lawsuits ensued and it was extremely, extremely expensive. So what will a Trump foreign policy look like? We don't know. And that's what we're going to see. So I'm very, very excited. Will he balance China? If will he end the Ukraine war? It's a very difficult, difficult situation, but I'm glad to be teaching this class, foreign policy, while he takes power. It's very interesting. During the election, I actually taught American politics. Very exciting. Thanks everyone for listening. Trump Tower in the back.